Hello everybody. In this video we'll be taking a look at the 2026 Senate elections and the 2026 gubernatorial elections. If we apply the same shift we saw a couple days ago in the states of Virginia and New Jersey's gubernatorial elections and just other elections that occurred around that time. For reference here, we saw in the gubernatorial election in Virginia, we saw Spanberger win by over 15 points here, and we saw Mikey Sherrill win by about 13.5 points just about in the state of New Jersey. As we saw here, Democrats were fired up to turn out here. They're reaching a very high number for a gubernatorial election here. And in the state of Virginia, we also had high turnout for Spanberger, but at the same time we had Earl Sears, who was a very weak Republican candidate, which hurt them very much. But nonetheless, we'll get into this scenario assuming 2026 has the same style of blue wave as 2025 did, which states will shift about 8 points to the left, because Virginia went about 6 points for Harris just about, and then that's all the way to 15 points, so that's about a 9-point shift right there, while state of New Jersey was more like 7 points. So anywhere between 7 to 9 points is the kind of shift we'll be seeing in these states. We'll start off by filling out the safe blue states, the states that will go blue by 10 or more points, and that will be the state of Oregon, Colorado, Illinois, Delaware. New Jersey will be safe in this scenario. Rhode Island, Massachusetts. We have the state of Maine will be safe. And then New Mexico, Virginia, and New Hampshire will be safe. And there's one more state I forgot to fill out. Minnesota. That one will be safe as well. All of these states will go to Democrats by over 10 points if we have a 2025 blue wave occur here. Republicans will still get some safe states. Those states will be Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and that really looks about it for the safe red states here. There's going to be many states that shift a lot towards the left if we have this kind of blue wave here. And then we'll go to the likely blue states. Start off with the state of Michigan. We can really see this one. In 2018, this state was definitely more of a likely blue state on the Senate level. We can assume many of these Republicans here, or whoever's voting for Trump, because much of the Rust Belt, they'll vote for Trump, but they have a hard time voting for other Republicans, because we saw with on the Obama era, these Rust Belt states were either safe blue or likely blue. We could see that maybe happen again with a blue wave like this. We can see the state of Michigan going by about 7 to 8 points, maybe even 9, if we have this kind of blue wave here. And then, taking a look, we can have, honestly, the state of Alaska, if Patola decides to run. That's a big if. In this scenario, we'll assume Patola runs, just because if there's going to be that blue wave, Patola would more likely run, and then she'd have a good shot at winning this state. After all, in 2022, she won by a safe blue margin, so on the Senate level, we could see if Patola is the Democrat nominee, and we have this 7 to 9 point shift to the left, we can see Patola win by that likely blue margin in the state of Alaska. That looks to be it for the likely blue states. And now we'll go to the likely red states. We'll start off with Montana. So in 2020, this state, it was about 10 points for Steve Daines here. He went up against a former Democrat governor in the state, which is partially why the race was closer. I know Donald Trump won the state by close to 20 points, but this is a Senate race here, so Senate races typically are a little bit closer, so we can assume that it'll go about 7 to 9 points to the left of what a typical Senate election would be in this state. We can see Montana go under 10 points narrowly. And same with the state of South Carolina. We could see this one go the single digits here if this blue wave occurs here, where states go about 7 to 9 points to the left. South Carolina voted Trump by about 18 points here, but we'll just see what happens. It could go under 10, maybe 7 points for the Republicans here if we have that kind of blue wave. In the state of Kansas, I could see that one being about 6 points Republican, because in 2020 we saw here state of Kansas, looking at Marshall's margin, it was not even 12 points here, so we can see that shift towards the left by a decent amount. We can get that under about 6 points. That would be the Republicans' margin with the blue wave here happening. And let's see, the state of Florida, yeah, that would be about 5 to 6 points as well. This state has overall shifted hard towards the right. A lot of Republican registering in this state, a lot of growing party there. But if we look at this, 2022, obviously the state was about 16 points red here, 16 and a half. But if we can see many of those reversions there, we could see the state, it voted for Trump by about 13 points, so we'll go about 5 points here. Just barely a likely red margin. I'd have a hard time seeing Florida go under 5 points on any election, just because of how far the state has drifted to the right, but we'll see what happens there. And that looks to be it for likely red states. And now we'll go to the lean blue states. Have the state of Ohio. We can see that one going about lean blue here. After all, in 2022, we saw J.D. Vance. He won by 6 points here. We saw that happen, which is underperforming what Trump did in 2024, but just looking at that, we could see Ohio. And then Sherrod Brown is also going to be the Democrat nominee, which could help out too. So, and John Husted is a decent candidate for the Republicans. But if we can see a decent shift in the state, we could see Sherrod Brown winning here by about 4 points with a blue wave here happening. The state of Georgia, you can see Ossoff actually winning by about 8 points here with a really big blue wave. He narrowly won the state in 2020. Got to fill out this likely state, but he could really put that margin up to a high single-digit margin if he had that blue wave going for him. In North Carolina, we can see it hit about 5 points as well for Roy Cooper. Assuming we have this blue wave here, we just see Republicans sitting at home, not turning out. Could very well bring a 5-point win for the Democrats in North Carolina. Now we'll go to the lean Republican states. We have the state of Nebraska. Largely why this one is much closer is because Dan Osborne is running as an independent, which he can pull a lot of Democrat support for him. And there are many Republicans and centrists who would vote for Osborne. Just the way he runs his campaign appeals to many Democrats and even Republicans. He can help narrow this margin down to about 3 points if we have this big blue wave coming in 2026. And now we'll go to the two tilt states, looking at the state of Texas. If we were to see this state shift towards the left with a big blue wave here, typically looks like Republicans do pretty well in this state overall. Trump won it by over 13 points. If we look at Ted Cruz's margin, he won by about 8.5. So, I mean, it's possible to see the state, if it were to go 9 points to the right, it will go tilt blue. But I don't think that will realistically happen. But just for the sake of this video, we'll fill it out as a tilt blue. If this 9-point shift were to happen in the state of Texas, we could really see it go tilt blue for whoever the Democrat nominee is here and knock off what's looking to be probably Ken Paxton, because it looks like he will win the nomination for the Republicans. And if those scandals just hold him behind, then Democrats can run it up in the state of Texas. They could theoretically win this one, but that will be harder to see. And now finally to the state of Iowa. I don't really see a realistic path that Democrats flip Iowa. So I really think be about tilt red if we have a big blue wave here. I think Republicans will still narrowly hold on to the state of Iowa, but it'll be pretty close. It'll be under 2 points at least. So this is what it'll look like if we have a 2025 style blue wave for the Senate level. We have Democrats winning 52 seats, taking back the Senate, and Republicans only winning 48 seats. Democrats would flip North Carolina, Maine, Ohio, Alaska, and Texas. So that'd be 5 flips for them, which will be insane if we see that happen in 2026. Now we'll go on to the gubernatorial elections here. See what kind of shifts we'll have here. We'll start off by filling out the map. We'll see Oregon go double digits, of course, here, and then Colorado, New Mexico, Illinois, Maryland, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. We will see New York. That state will actually go double digits for Kathy Hochul here in this scenario. State of Maine as well. Pennsylvania will be safe blue. And state of Minnesota can go 10 and above. We could see that happen. The state of Michigan, if Mike Duggan drops out, we could see it go safe blue. For now, he hasn't dropped out. But in this case, since we're assuming basically a good scenario for Democrats, we'll assume Mike Duggan either drops out or loses almost all of his support. We can really see this one go safe blue in this scenario here. Hawaii as well, can't forget about that one. That one's very safe blue. California as well. That looks to be it for the safe states here for the Democrats. And now we'll head for the safe Republican states in a scenario in which there is this big shift towards the left. Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, we'll see Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, and we'll see Vermont as well. That looks to be it for the safe red states. Looking here. Nebraska, yeah, that can still go safe because it's a gubernatorial election. I can't see that one going under 10 points for a gubernatorial election because Dan Osborne's going for Senate, and there's not any really strong Democrats going for the governor there. So that looks to be it for the governors. And now we'll go to the likely blue states. We have the state of Arizona. We can see Katie Hobbs winning by probably about 6 to 7 points in a scenario which Democrats overperform strongly. And we can see, are there any other states where Democrats? Wisconsin, that's another one. Wisconsin, we could see this one going to mid-single digits here, about 7, 8 points, maybe even 9. Just, it'll be above that 5-point margin here if Democrats have a big blue wave in this election. Even though in 2018 the governor election actually was really close here, but then it was a Democrat knocking off a Republican incumbent. But this is an open race, so Democrats will have a better advantage there. And then we'll take a look at the likely red states. South Carolina, that's likely red. We can see it go under 10 in a scenario like this. And same for Oklahoma. Their governor elections are typically closer than other races in the state, so we could see Oklahoma going about 8 to 9 points Republican if there's a big blue wave here. And that looks to be it for the likely red. We can also include the state of Florida. That one can go somewhere between 5 to 8 points if Democrats have a big blue wave there as well. And then we'll go on, moving on to the lean states. We'll have the state of Alaska. We can put that one into the lean blue column, assuming Bujik runs, the Democrat Bujik, not the Republican that's in the House, but the Democrat. If that one runs for governor and he can overperform strongly, we could see that one going about 3 points towards the Democrats if they have a good blue wave in the state of Alaska. And that looks to be it for the lean. We can also include Nevada, actually. That one, I know we have Joe Lombardo. He is the incumbent Republican. But assuming that Aaron Ford, because he's a strong candidate, if he's able to turn out them margins to overcome Joe Lombardo's popularity, we can definitely see Nevada go about 4 points blue in this scenario. And then we'll go on to the lean red states in this scenario. We'll have state of Texas. That one can go lean red. Greg Abbott is more popular than the senators are in this state, so that helps him out. I'd have a hard time seeing this one going under 2 points in any scenario, since Greg Abbott, he is a pretty good candidate for the state of Texas. But assuming that Democrats run a really strong one and the blue wave carries over to the governor's race, we can see it go about 4 points for Abbott in this scenario. And now here will be where things get interesting. Georgia will give it lean blue. Just we could see Democrats flipping this seat because it's an open race here. And Democrats don't necessarily have the strongest candidates, but we have Ossoff at the top of the ticket. And in this scenario, since we have him winning somewhere between 7 and 9 points, we can have the governors going about 4 points in this scenario, since the Democrats are not the strongest candidates for running for governor. And now we'll get into the very interesting states. It'll be these 4. These will all be tilt states, and I think they'll all go the same way. New Hampshire, I think, will flip blue if somehow they can find a decent Democrat challenger to Kelly Ayotte, which she's a pretty strong candidate for New Hampshire, but if people turn their backs on her, we can see that one go tilt blue. Same for Ohio. We can see Vivek lose election here and Amy Acton actually win. There was a poll that just came out that had her up by 1. And if we have that momentum going for her, we can definitely see Ohio shift towards a tilt blue state in this scenario. And then Iowa as well. Rob Sand, he can narrowly win with this kind of blue wave. Honestly, it'll be under 2, but I could see it over 1 point here. I mean, after all, he's running for governor, not state auditor. Those are different offices, but still, we can definitely see him win here. Finally, to the state of Kansas, even though Laura Kelly's not going for it again, if somehow many people just vote blue on the governor's level, we can definitely see this state go to Democrats' hands, and we'll see no Republican flips, but we'll see many Democrat flips. We'll see a flip in Alaska, Nevada, Georgia, New Hampshire, Ohio, Iowa. So that's 6 flips for the Democrats if they have this big blue wave like they did in 2025 for the governor's races here. So for the Senate, we have 52 Democrats. Governors, we have 24 Democrats winning. So thank you everyone for watching. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments down below, whether you agree or disagree with these takes. Be sure to like this and subscribe. Bye.